Sylvia Plath, of course, classic. Anne Sexton, I like confessional poetry. Mary Oliver, and Emily Dickinson, I would say. Tonight I don't plan on reading all these poets, but I just selected a bunch of poems that I liked, and I'm going to read them to you, sorry. So the first poem I'm going to read is called The Journey by Mary Oliver. It's a very beautiful poem. Okay. One day you finally knew what you had to do and began, though the voices around you kept shouting their bad advice, though the whole house began to tremble, and you felt the old tug at your ankles. Mend my life, each voice cried, but you didn't stop. You knew what you had to do, though the wind pried with its stiff fingers at the very foundations, though their melancholy was terrible. It was already late and enough and a wild night, was blue until I heard her sing. I was never aware so much had been lost, even before I was born. There was so much to lose, even before I knew what it meant to choose. Born blue, living blue and confessed blue. In concealment, I have lived all my life at the plinth of greater things than me. Morning is greater, with its firstborn light and bird song. Noon is taller, though a moment's realm. Evening is ancient and immense, and night's storied house more huge. But I had no idea, and would have died without a clue, except she began to sing and I understood. My soul is a bride enthralled by an unmet groom, or else the groom wholly spoken for, blue, in ardor, happy in eternal waiting. I heard her sing and knew I would never hear the true name of each thing until I realized the abysmal ground of all things. Her singing touched that ground in me. Now dying of my life, everything is made new. Now my life is not my life. I have no life apart from all of life. And my death is not my death, but a pillow beneath my head, a rock, propping the window open to admit the jasmine. I heard her sing, and I'm no longer afraid. Now that I know what she knows, I hope never to forget how giant the gone, and immaculate the going, how much I've already lost, how much I go on losing, how much I've lived. All one blue, oh how much I go on living. Next one is called Coda by James Tate. Okay. My fingers are getting tired. Love is not worth so much. I regret everything. Now on our backs, in Fayetteville, Arkansas, the stars are falling. Into our cracked eyes, with my good arm, I reach for the sky and let the air out of the moon. It goes whizzing off to shrivel and sink in the ocean. You cannot weep. I cannot do anything that once held an ounce of meaning for us. I cover you with pine needles. When morning comes, I will build a cathedral around our bodies, and the crickets who sing with their knees will come there in the night to be sad when they can sing no more. This one's pretty sad. I'm gonna change my hand because the position is uncomfortable for too long. This one is pretty short. It's called A City Like a Guillotine Shivers on Its Way to the Neck by Ilya Kaminsky. Alfonso stumbles from the corpse of the soldier. The townspeople are cheering, elated, pounding him on the back. Those who climb the trees to watch upload from the branches. Momagalia shouts about pigs, pigs clean as men. At the trial of God we will ask, why did you allow all this? And the answer will be an echo. Why did you allow all this? Wait. This one is pretty short too. It's called Self-Pity by T.H. Lawrence. I never saw a wild thing feeling sorry for itself. A small bird will drop frozen dead from a bow without ever having felt sorry for itself. This one is called Poems Comes to Czechoslovakia by Marina Tsveteva. I don't know. Look, I don't know if I pronounced it right. Sorry if I butcher any name. Black Mountain. Black Mountain blocks the Earth's light. Time, time, time to give back to God his ticket. I refuse to be in the madhouse of the Inhumans. I refuse to live to swim on the current of human spines. I don't need holes in my ears. No need for seeing eyes. I refuse to swim on the current of human spines. To your mad world, one answer. I refuse. They took suddenly and took openly, took mountains and took their entrails. They took coal and they still they took. They took lead and crystal. And sugar they took, and took the clover. They took the west and they took the north. They took the beehive and took the haystack. They took the south from us and the east. Very they took, and the tattoos they took. They took our fingers, took our friends. But we stand up, as long as there's spit in our mouths. The next one is called Bitter Herb by Erica Jong. Jong. I don't know. Sorry. Sorry, I was waiting for my brother to stop making noise. Okay. If you would poison your mind with the bitter herb of self-hate, nothing can save you. Not the lover who comes in the night, smelling of pitch and brimstone. Not the husband who comes in delight, smelling of hay and the golden turds of mares. Not the mother with her poisoned apple. Not the daughter with her wreaths of roses and opium poppies. Not the sister with her rosemary and rue. Nor the brother with the mandrake root. Having driven out the demons of the past, we find them now within. No witches burn in the market, but our minds revolve upon their own spits. No crucifixion upon Calvary, but a daily torture in the hills of the skull. No smell of burning female flesh upon the heath, but the acrid odor of the heart slowly smoldering. What witchcraft will it take to bend this world to our will? Must we burn poisonous herbs to kill the poisons in the streams? Must we wear poultices of henbane and deadly nightshade against the very air? Oh, take this garlic rosary, this token of death's breath, this possessed vegetable, this bulb of dried desire. I am sick